I will just stop sharing, and I would like to open up for a question and answer, right? I hope I can answer. All right. Anybody would like to start first? You can ask something to do with today's lecture, or you can also ask other things, right? It is open from week 1 until week 13. Yeah. Yes, anybody would like to start first?
Good evening, Prof.
Yes, Papati.
When it comes to citing a table, let's say in dissertation, yeah, and is it okay to copy the table from somebody's paper and recite it, or it's not? It's not right. First is we can't. You said that we can't copy sentences, but I'm not sure about the table. Like for example, that the advantages and disadvantages of vertical farming was done by a researcher in paper and is summarized. So is it okay to take the table?
Okay, thank you, Papati. There are ways of trying to use the data from other researchers, especially if it is in the form of a table or in the form of figures or chart, right? So, for example, like if it is a table, let's say you pick up the whole table without doing any alteration. So you just copy and paste in your paper, and you may want to cite it as being the authors. Of course, that's very important. Or if you are manipulating, not saying manipulating, or you are combining data from different table, okay, you or the same table, but you format the table. You have you change the some of the data, you move here and there, you already basically build the table again. It can be quoted or cited as adapted from, meaning that you have made some changes, right? So that is also allowable, and there are cases, especially in literature review, you are actually building up your own table. The information are coming from many other sources. For example, you have 2 or 3 citation. Okay, some one researcher reporting about one effect of the vertical farming, and another researcher reporting again, and another one reporting. You put in one table, and the table now belong to you. Of course, you do not put any citation in the what we call it as the legend, caption, but in the content of the table, you may put the appropriate information coming from where. Okay, from researcher number 20, 21, and 22, for example. So I hope that is answering your question. Is it okay, Papati? Is it clear, or you want some graphical example?
No, I understand the last few parts, but that means is it no? It's not encouraged to take the table. Is it?
I don't say it's not encouraged. I can say that it is best not to do that, right? But it is, let's say you have only one table being taken from outside or from other, it's okay. But if the whole paper is just table that are taken from other people, it means that the quality of your article is low, right? So you can use it sparingly, meaning that you can, let's say you have 10 figures of 10 tables, at least maybe half of it or 30% of it are taken from other people, but the rest are your own results, right? Of course, you don't want to have an article of all the tables, all the figures are from other people. So what is your contribution, right? So that's why I said you use it sparingly. You can have a few, but not too many. Okay, I don't have the numbers, but I say that don't do it frequently.
Yes.
Okay, right? Anybody else?
Hello, Professor Arif here.
Oh, okay, Arif. Yes.
Okay, so moving on from Pagati's question, so basically it is better for us to get to use lesser amount of articles rather than a huge amount of articles, is it?
Can you say it again?
I mean, it's important for us to find the articles that actually fit all of our research. Like for instance, for me personally, I'm currently doing about road accident. So if I wanted to find regarding road accident and also about materials, I'm supposed to find research papers that actually focus on that. Listen to Professor.
Okay, if I understand it correctly, the answer is yes. Of course, you want to find as many articles that are related to your research, right? So, like I explained earlier, when you have your K chart, right? So, you are going to find all the articles that are related to the things you put in your K chart, right? Of course, when you zoom into your own area, the article become more focused instead of just general information, right? Let's say we are talking about vertical farming, just an example, right? And there are many ways of doing urban agriculture, and then you zoom in into more appropriate application, and finally, let's say you are just doing the census of the for the vertical farming. So your article would be guided or directed towards the issues that you want to discuss, right? So if is it that is answering your question, Arif? I'm trying to understand what is your
Yeah.
question.
Just like moving on from the question, Professor.
Uh-huh.
Another question that I would like to ask is like if for instance the research that I'm currently doing, there's no such research or there's not a lot of articles that actually focus on that particular topic.
Okay.
In that case, is it okay for me to be more general and then make my own inference based on or make my own hypothesis based on the general information that I have?
Okay. Just be careful when you want to make a statement saying that there are no article reporting certain things. Sometimes students like to claim that, make a claim, disclaimer, as the novelty of their work, saying that I'm the first person who study these parameters, or there are no researchers in the world or no report in the whole universe focusing on this particular study. So try not to do such claims, because this is normal. Some many students, even at PhD level, they love to put this claim, but there are ways to tone down the statement by saying that in the author's views or opinion. Of course, maybe you don't find it, but we don't know. Let's say the examiner can find some articles, right? So you may report that there are a lack of sources talking about road traffic accident and so on, and you now building up the information. You are providing new data, right? So because you find out there is a gap in the study, right? For example, at one time, when in Malaysia, we do not have motorcycle lane, right? Who introduced motorcycle lane in Malaysia? Anybody knows? So it's the late Professor Radin, is our previous Vice Chancellor of UPM. He is the first person who introduced in way back in year 2003, 2005 through Ministry of Works, and so we in Malaysia we start to build motorcycle lane based on his research, and he's also the founder for MIROS, the Malaysian Institute for Road Safety. Okay, so there are so many things that is even though he's the first person who introduced the motorcycle lane in Malaysia. Of course, in other countries they are already there. All right. So maybe in Europe, maybe in China or any other country, there are already a dedicated motorcycle lane. But in Malaysia, it just being introduced in the early year 2000. So what I want to say here is that maybe you couldn't find specific article that are related to your work. It doesn't mean that there are no reference at all. All right. So that's why very important when you make it more general. You go up the K chart, you will find other relevant article that can be reported as general. Of course, maybe the application is slightly different, but you may relate it. I have already examined more than 30 PhD students. So there's no reason, there's no reason that students say that they couldn't find any article that are not related to their work. I can say that this is related, but in some manners. All right. So try your very best to find. Maybe it's not the same, but it is similar, but in other application. All right. Okay. Anybody else?
Assalamualaikum, Prof. I have a question.
Yes. Okay, Safaiza, yeah.
Okay, how do you recite pattern search?
How do we cite pattern search?
Yeah.
Or how do we do pattern search? Which one?
How do we cite?
How do we cite? Okay. Let's say you found a pattern which is in the same application, right? You may report that there are cases when people do file for patent. At the same time, their article, they also publish papers in relation to the patent. But normally the patent will come first, right? And then their article, no, because that is the ruling. Because you cannot publish journal article before you file a patent. File for patent, it doesn't mean that patent granted. So, in other words, if you can find a article that are related to the patent, you may want to cite the article, because an article is much easier to read and much easier to be referred. But if there are cases that you only find it is in the patent form, so you can report that. For example, like in my case, I quote in my thesis a patent of producing a mesh heater, because in my research we need to heat up the airflow in a wind tunnel. So a guy called Gillespie in 1996, he has patented the mesh heater, right? So I use the mesh heater in my research. So in my writing, in my thesis, I put Gillespie et al. 1996 produces the pattern and so on, and basically I adopt the technique. So it is similar in terms of the citation. So you just quote the author's name if it's just one author, so like Gillespie 1996, or if there are more authors, you just put Gillespie et al. 1996. It's just a similar like other citation, but the only difference is that when you put in the references, it make a little bit different, where you put the patent number, right? You put the patent number first. Let's say US or Malaysia, my IPO, the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the title of the patent, and then the there is a way. If you look at different journal or different thesis writing, they have a different way of writing the citation for patent. All right. If you already downloaded the Petanika guideline, right? Maybe there are patent citation over there. I'm not really sure about it, but obviously, if it is in a UPM guideline, thesis guideline, there is a how to code a patent, how to code a conference paper, how to code a thesis, a book chapter, and so on. So there are ways of doing it, but again, we have to, in general, when you want to quote the author's name and the year, or if you are using number, you just put the number there in the text. The only difference is in the list of references. Okay, I hope it helps, Shafraza.
Yes, thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Prof.
Okay, I believe there are so many other questions.
Prof, I want to ask about the patent search just now.
Yes, yeah.
How
Yes,
do we summarize the patent search that we found to put in our write-up?
How do we summarize the
patent search that we found? That
Okay.
is, maybe the mechanism or the material is suitable for our project. So how do we analyze the patent search that is patented?
Okay. Actually, in terms of doing a analysis or summarization of the other people findings, whether it is patent or journal article, or we treat it the same, meaning that you can cluster it according to the characteristic that you want to compare. Let's say you found 5 different pattern that is similar to what you are doing, right? Of course, you have the patent number, you have the methodology of each pattern, the novelty of each pattern, right? So maybe the novelty is in terms of the processes, maybe in terms of the material being used, or the other things, right? So when you do the comparison, you some I'm just saying about the experience in terms of other students doing it, where they can put up the schematic drawing. Okay, some of them putting the drawing of the product, the patent product, and they put up another column that are common to all of the other patents that they are comparing. Maybe the process, maybe the material, maybe the methodology, maybe the novelty, right? Because each patent, when you read the patent document, it clearly stated what is being protected. Okay, I don't know whether you have I believe you have downloaded the patent document, right? So in the patent document, there is a section, the item that being protected. I can't remember the title, the subtitle of the novelty there. So you can group that, meaning that you can make your own column in terms of comparison. All right. So the best way of doing this, basically, you read more literature review papers, because in the review papers, normally researchers, as like example, like what I shown to you, I think last week, right, or the week before, in terms of the review paper, where I show you a few sets of review paper, my very own review paper. So we group. There are cases we build tables. There are cases we put up graphs, and there are cases that we just cite a table from other people into the paper, and it is different modes. And so the most popular one is basically you create the columns that you want to compare, right? The common things. Okay, is it okay, Ashikin?
Yeah, thank you, Prof.
Okay, all right, everybody should ask question.
Assalamualaikum, Prof.
Waalaikumsalam.
Visna here.
Yes, Visna. Yes, please.
Okay, since my project title is based on design,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
so I do literature review, most of it from patent document.
Okay.
So I compare patents. So if let's say in the sentence, I write, for example, a search or an invention done by, for example, Visna in 2010 shows that blah, blah, blah with a patent title, and then I put the title. So should I cite that one at the end? Because I already stated the name, the title of the patent, and in fact date in the
Okay.
sentence.
Okay. Basically, you do not have to put the whole title in the text, right? Let's say you are doing the you are discussing the or reporting what's the patent.
As being
Yeah, so basically you do not have to write the whole citation there. You may want to quote the let's say there are only one author there or so many author. More if it is just two author, for example like Norashikin and Visna to 2020. So just like that. Okay, reported or patented similar vertical farming arrangement. So that is already, you do not have to put the whole title. Okay.
Okay.
The full citation, it is in the reference list. Okay. And you may want to, because this
Okay, thank you, Prof.
this is try to because we want to avoid similarity index, very high similarity index, because when of course later on when you submit your review paper, I'm going to put it in, turn it in, right, and see whether okay it is 50%, okay, 50% similarity. I don't say similarity, I don't say it is 50% plagiarized. It is 50% similar to other people, something like that. So to avoid this, basically we try our very best to remove the full title. We put it in the reference list.
Okay, another question, Prof.
Yeah.
Is it okay if my literature review 100% based on patent document, or it needs to also have other articles as well?
Okay. The answer is that it should be mixed, meaning that it's not just 100%. Let's say you have 100 references, all 100 are patent document. Okay, obviously it is acceptable, but for me it is not a good strategy. Meaning that you should have a mixture. Mixture means that you can have some from textbook, you can have some citation from conferences, many should come from journal article, and there are certain citation from newspaper cuttings or news from or websites, or even interview with experts. You can have that as a reference.
Okay, Prof, another question.
Yeah,
Sorry, there's a lot of question.
no worry.
Okay, since we are going to submit part A very soon,
Yep.
is it okay if the improvement of the literature review, for example, will be in part B? Because I don't think I have enough time to get all the mix.
Okay. To answer that, of course, in part A, we do expect that student will produce at least the first 3 chapters. Okay, the introduction, the literature review, and then the research, the methodology. Okay, so when you say that, obviously the literature review section is not it's not cast in stone. It's not meaning that you cannot update it later on. Obviously, it will be changed. There are cases, okay, when you present your part A, suddenly the examiner said, "Oh, Visna, you have to change the whole thing. You cannot do this. It is obsolete already." Okay, it may happen. Okay, I hope it's not. So it may happen where students need to start all over again doing their chapter 2. All right, so whatever you have in at the moment, by doing it properly using K-chart, you try to analyze the issues and then try to propose the problem statement, and then you already know how to write objective, the hypothesis, research question. I believe the part A is already nearly ready. So, but as I said, it will be updated later, meaning that in part B, you are allowed to revisit chapter 1, 2, and 3. Okay, we do expect that you are going to do revision. All right. So bear in mind, part A is 30%. So the only thing that cannot be reversed is the marks. The marks, or if it is already being given, let's say you get 30 out of 30, excellent. If you get 15 out of 30, you cannot top up with part B. Part B is another 70. All right, you know the rule of the game now. You can revisit the chapters, but you cannot top up the marks. The marks is already cast in stone. All right,
Okay.
but the
Clear,
content
Prof.
can be updated.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay, you're most welcome. All right, who else has not asked any question before I call your name? Just ask anything.
Hi, Prof. Anafi.
Okay, Anafi, quickly.
Talking about journal review, our next. So, how many pages do you expect?
Okay, a review paper, right? Following, you have to follow the Petanika requirements. What are Journal Petanika said about the limitation? They mentioned about the numbers of words, right? They didn't mention about number of pages.
Oh, what? Okay.
Yes, so you follow strictly. Okay, if you go beyond that, you will be penalized. I will penalize the marks. Okay, so if you, let's say the journal requirement asks you to use certain font, size, and spacing, you must follow. If you don't follow, you will get no marks. All right, Anafi? Okay.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay. Most welcome. Okay. Next.
Assalamualaikum, Prof.
Waalaikumsalam. Yes, Anas.
Regarding the marks, for review paper, what is the percentage of mark for the review paper?
I will inform you next week in terms of the distribution. for the time being, we have done two so-called activities, right? We have activity two assignment, activity 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6. Okay, starting from the K chart, and then what else? You have the title, and then I can't remember now. So there are already 6 items. Even though you submitted twice, there are already 6 items, including the hypothesis, the objective, the problem statement, apa lagi. So there are already 6 things, right? That will be contributing to the 60%, right? And then the 40%, because we are not going to have the final exam. The final exam is the review paper. Okay, so unless you want a final exam, which I feel very difficult to do final exam online, especially for research methodology class. Okay.
So there is no final exam, and the 100% marks will be from our work.
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay. So unless you want a final exam, Anas.
If the final exam is easy, then give us final exam.
Final exam is easy, but the most difficult thing is to do the question for final exam, because it is open book, because I cannot control whether you're going to copy it somewhere else. But more importantly for me, it's not about putting back whatever I've already teach you, but it's more on the practice, whether you can write your own review paper, you write your own objective, you write your own K chart, and so on. So that is more important. All right. So the outcome. Okay. So as I said, I'm going to use the review paper as the final exam. So I will convert all the assignment as the coursework, right? So that's what's the plan so far.
In that case, Prof, can I request for the review paper due date to be extended?
No.
No.
Because
Okay,
to mark a review paper is much more longer compared to marking final exam, because it's not going to be straightforward, because there's no marking scheme, because the question is different, because the answer is different. Your answer will be different than Anafi paper, will be different than Arif paper, Martin paper, and so I have 11 papers to read. Okay, so imagine 1 or 2 days for one paper. Okay. So try your very best. Of course, there will be the due date is February, right? Lambat lagi.
5th of February.
5th of February, yeah. So we have how many weeks more to go? So I hope everybody can. It depends on. Let's say everybody said, on the last day, Prof Rahim, we cannot do it. We want it to be extended. So it depends on the situation. Okay. So now kita pun darurat kan? Okay. But for the time being, it's still fixed on the 5th of February.
Okay, Prof. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Who else?
Prof, can I ask one more question?
Yes. There's no charges to ask questions.
The assignment 3, the review paper, like for example, we have not done the analysis, we don't have the experiment results. So how do we conclude in abstract based on our K chart?
Okay. In terms of if you look into the because doing review paper, the example that I gave you just how to write it, because of course I didn't teach you how to do the, especially the content part, because it is actually an extension of the literature review, the chapter 2 that you are some of you are doing part A now, right? So basically it is if you follow through carefully, now you have already your K chart. Let's say your K chart has a few layers, 5 layers, right? In terms of the issue layers, right? Each layers will contribute to a paragraph or a subchapter on its own. All right. So let's say the first issue, the first layer, you have 5 items there, is already contributing into 5 small paragraph, and you move into another layers that you have, and then it will contribute to another subchapter. So basically, as I mentioned in the previous recorded video about the literature review or review paper, what you need to do basically, based on your K chart, you are now doing the analysis of other people works, right? So because all of you are not yet doing any experiment or simulation, because in the review paper, if you look at the examples of a review paper that I shown, those are resulted from first semester work of study. First semester, or some student, it takes a longer time. They took 2 semesters to do the literature review paper, right? So it is not the students' work. It is actually they are doing the analysis of other people's work in relation to the work that you want to do. Okay, so they are analyzing, for example, what are the methodology being used by other people, what are the material being used by other people, what are the simulation technique that being used. So the one that you display in your K chart, each layer, each boxes that you put in, worth to be discussed in the literature review paper. All right. So how else I can say? Maybe I will share with you in Putra Blast all the papers that I shared last week, so that you can read through, or you can easily Google it in Scopus. It is available there, and you can download it for free. I believe that I have teach you how to search the papers, right? Okay.
Yes.
And all of the papers that I shown you last week are review paper, and it is available to be downloaded from Scopus. Okay, you can go through UPM website, or you can go through other means and download it. If you feel that you couldn't find it, let me know. Okay, I will share with you, maybe put it in Putra Blast and so on. Okay, so try to so it's not about producing results. The results from literature review is basically you are able to identify the gaps. You are able to find that there is a problem in the current issue, that current literatures, that at the end of your literature review paper, the conclusion is basically addressing what are the gaps, or what are the things that are need to be resolved by that's the value of the review paper. Okay, so it is quite a challenge. I know it is sounds impossible, but just to let you know, okay, previous student in the same course managed to produce a very good paper, and it is already publishable. So they managed to be, some of them are going to be published very soon this year, even though the paper, the classes is 1 year ago, right? but their paper has already, some of it already being accepted, some of them are also being rejected by actual journal. So now we want to submit to Petanika. Okay, Petanika journal, it is a UPM journal, it is a Scopus cited, and hopefully maybe one or maybe all of your papers will be accepted in the journal. We never know. If it is being rejected, it's okay. But for me, is the when I give marks, basically if you manage to follow the format of Journal Petanika, that's number one. Okay, follow closely. Okay, and then number two is the I will refer to your K chart. Okay, whether you are following whatever K chart that let's say you are saying that, oh, my K chart is already obsolete, I want to resubmit my K chart. Feel free to resubmit that. Okay, so that I know that you are now basing on your new K chart for your review paper. Okay, of course, in the early days, you submit a premature K chart. Now it is already matured, right? You have revised it. Okay. The other day, Papati did ask me whether we can redo the K chart. The answer is yes. K chart is not. It is a live document. Okay. Whether you follow your K chart or your K chart will follow your literature review paper. Okay, whichever, because it is because sometimes this is the first time you are doing it, right? I don't expect everybody will be master. We will be perfect, but at the end of the day, you're going to become a master. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. Chio, any question?
Prof, I have a question, Prof.
Yes. Yeah.
So basically, what are the things that we need to summarize? Let's say in a research article, there are 3 objectives and more findings. That means we have to summarize everything, or just the main objective and the main result.
Okay. You have to in your literature review, right? You have to somehow put up the boundary in terms of what you want to report. Okay, if you look carefully in the example that I gave last week, in the abstract, normally we just put a general objective, but in the end of the introduction section, okay, we normally put up the main elements that going to be discussed in the paper. Okay, normally it is 3, maybe 4 or 5 objective or main things that going to be reported. So the same thing goes into let's say you declare there are 5 items that you want to discuss, or 3 items you want to discuss in the paper. So I do expect that in the body of the paper there are 3 main sections, which the first one will discuss the first objective, the second section will discuss the second objective, the third section will discuss the third objective, right? And the conclusion also related to objective number 1, number 2, and number 3. You cannot just simply have 3 objectives, suddenly your findings, you have 10 findings. All right, so try to be balanced. Is it okay again?
Okay, Prof. So that's mean for, let's say I have 10 research articles. So
Okay.
that's mean I have to go one by one until all the 10 research articles is completely summarized.
Yes. No. Remember, I did mention this. You are not a reporter. Okay. All of you are not just reporting what other people do. Okay. You are analyzing. You are a researcher. You need to critically discuss the findings. Right. If you look carefully in my explanation last week, in terms of the results, okay, what is actually you need to do first? Okay, what's actually you need to do first? You need to. Okay, I think there's some connection problem. Can you hear me?
Can hear, Prof.
Okay, sorry, because just now, I think my home connection probably is some problem. All right, so where are we? You need to discuss to explain the trend, right? There are 3 items. Remember, you discuss the trend, what's happened, right? And then you discuss the second item. You discuss the reason behind it. Why is it happening like that? And then you put up your opinion on it. All right. So just refer back to the results. The presentation, the recorded video last week, and see there's one section shows the results. So each is not reporting paper 1 talking about this, paper 2 talking about this, paper 3 talking about it. It is actually you try to group. You try to group paper 1, 2, and 3 talking about the methods of doing the simulation or the material. So you are talking, you are explaining the theme, the layer of K-chart. Okay, it's not reporting paper 1, paper 2, paper 3, paper 4, paper 5, because that will be a reporter, Al Jazeera reporter or Bernama reporter. We are not a reporter. I'm training you to become a researcher. So you are going to group the issues. Look at the papers. Just now I explained to Ashikin about how to group the what to do when we have so many patterns. So we group it according to the items. Either it is the methodology or the material, the procedure, or the technique. So it depends. So and then you discuss that. You may want to repeat the same thing for different things. Okay. Is it okay again? So the best way is to look at other review paper. How is it being done? I think I gave you more than 6 or 7 example the other day. So
Yes, Prof. Got it, Prof.
okay, so try first and see how other people do it, and you can then follow through slowly.
Okay, Prof. Thanks.
All right. Okay, Martin. Any question, Martin?
Yes, Prof.
Yes.
Actually, before I have the same question with Visna about our dissertation part 1, but you already give me a clear answer. Now I'm clear.
Okay, good. How about Sheo?
Okay, Prof.
Sheo? Sheo, you have any question?
Prof,
Yes.
my question is same goes to Visna question. Can you see my
Oh, in the chat box, Yes. Okay. Is it possible if most of the literature review information is coming from article or website rather than paper or journal? Okay. As I said just now, try to be balanced. You may have article from website, but you have to cite it carefully. You have to make sure you know the author of the article in the website, but not having all references from the website. Okay, just maybe the other reference that student would like to normally do. Basically, they cite Wikipedia. So in terms of definition, in terms of, so try not to cite Wikipedia. I don't want to see any citation from Wikipedia or whatever pedia. All right. Shiyo, we cannot hear you. If you want to type it on the chat box, it will be okay. If you have any question.
Okay, Prof. Actually, my supervisor suddenly changed my title on first January.
Okay.
Okay.
New year.
You know already.
I don't know. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. And then I have a limitation time to fulfill cover the whole things. So most the problems that I found is from article and then the experiment people.
Mhm.
But to go deeply in a journal or people study too, I thought I'm worried if I got enough time lah. And then
Okay.
so far most of the information yang I find tu daripada article and website. So that's why I'm asking the question. I thought that one is not the apa tak boleh diguna pakai lah. I mean, and then is it possible if I found the article and then I put as usual, put the number of citation and then put the website web at the reference.
Yes, actually, as I said, you can quote from a website, but you have to make sure it is a it's a genuine website. Sometimes a website like Wikipedia, anybody can just update the information. But most of the time, the information are correct, but we don't know who are the author of the website. So if it is a genuine website, it is coming from a company or association or a legit website, you can put it there. But I hope it's not going to be all references are coming from the website. But it is allowable to have references from website.
Okay, Prof. In the website, they just put the nickname of the author and then the year. That's all I can find from the link lah.
Okay, you can follow the format from Petanika Journal. There are methods of citing from website. More importantly, the website address and the date that you access the website. When the date, because sometimes when other people want to try to access the website, it is not available anymore, because website need to be updated. Sometimes it is no longer there. The article is no longer there. Okay, so you make sure you put the information on the date access as well as the website address. Okay, www.something and so on.
Okay, Prof. Clear. Thank you.
Right. As usual, even though the literature review paper will be a final exam kind of the exercise, but I welcome if you would like to ask me. Let's say you want me to just have a check. But don't give it very late. Let's say tomorrow is the due date and suddenly the day before I receive all 11 articles to be checked. Okay, don't expect that I will entertain you. I will give it up till maybe another week, maybe two. When how can I say because to go through an article, it takes some time. It's not just reading one paragraph. It is the whole article. So it is not fair. Let's say tomorrow is the due date. You give me all your article to be checked today. So give me some ample time. Okay, so that I can if you have anything that you are still not sure, But as I said, the best thing is to look at the existing literature review paper, right? That is already proof that it is published. Okay, there's from Xiao, no question. Facing problem when doing the report after I cited other authors' article. There are a lot of noun which we have to use. In this way, it will have high similarity with the original article, and I'm looking for the solution. Okay, with regards to the how to rephrase, you want to change the context. The best way to write a paragraph is basically you write on your own. You don't just start from copying the original text into your paper. Okay, if you start copying the text, the whole paragraph, and you try to rephrase it, you tend to miss out things, and you think that is your word. So there are so many ways of reporting. Everybody has their own style of writing sentences. Even though you want to say that I go to school every day. So some people will say that differently. So instead of I go to school every day I go to school. So there are two ways already, right? So it's best to just read the article, read the interesting paragraph, the one that you are interested in, and then write it. What are the important things coming out from the article? And write if you have start with the trend. What do you see in surface first? Okay, for example, the result goes up, the result goes down, and then the why, the justification behind it, and then the comparison between the two or the three, and you can and you make some conclusion there, small conclusion for each paragraph, right? And then you move on. So it is basically practice make perfect, and also look at examples from other people's. It is because it is you are writing a technical paper. It's not a novel. It's not a horror movie. It's not a bedtime story. It is straight to the point. So doing a literature review is not everybody can write a good literature review. But if you what we are trying to share with you today, basically in terms of how to write a literature review, how to go through it. So hope that everybody can write something. Write the literature review according to the journal format. Okay, I believe everybody has already speak up or written the question. Anything else? Next week we are going to have another session on how to write a thesis according to UPM format. Right, so that will be the final topic. Okay, so I'll share with with you, probably not tonight. It's already nearly 11 o'clock at night. So I'll share with the video maybe tomorrow, if time permits. So if there is nothing else, thank you very much. Stay safe. I'll see you guys next week. And feel free, if you have any more questions, you may contact me in person through WhatsApp or through the YouTube comments. Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you, Prof.